What up, guys? I just sued just in 2019. We talking about the Mary A. Johnson. I called this assistant office. I had to find out about the business and Mary A. Johnson and the city hall and the members. And I called the mayor assistant. I left a message, and I found out more about the business. By racist words was being. Let me tell you something. The 911 dispatch. I want people to get it from me because the state of Texas racists are not going to hear me out. And they believe in the mayor and city hall members. The 911 dispatcher laughed at me. They didn't want to help me. They had all about their tax dollars. This black mayor in city hall, that's right now, that's on city hall. He said he own this city. Racism on this city. He ain't keeping it real with his community, but he get to walk away freely. And that's not right. I just told the Justice Department, him and his city hall members get to walk away without playing like nothing didn't happen. Dallas City Hall members, you ain't keeping it real. You lying. You lying. You lying with racism. You lying. You lying. You got a problem with it, and nobody wants to deal with you and your mayor. Eric Johnson lies. In your community got a racist problem. They will sit up there and believe everything you say. But let me tell you something. As long as he's standing there in his position and them, you won't have me. Because that was wrong. That was wrong. And I'm telling Miss Crystal, that was wrong and lie and racism lies. He cared about himself in the community. Let me tell you something. I sat at my local offices and I called over 50 times. And in my local office, what happened when I called the local government? The call center, the Carter Center gave me the local government number, and you told me that your local government told me to shut up. Right? Now talk to Senator Ted about that. Why you lied to Senator Ted and them, and y'all don't tell Senator Ted and then the truth. You see, Miss Krista don't know everything. They don't know everything what you've been up to and what you lied about and what you did me to win that election. But your people, they care about more as a politic war, right? You ain't a good guy, Mayor Eric Johnson. You ain't a good guy at all. But God said, don't fake your love for me. And when you lied, you said you created over 1,000 and some dollars. God said, I created 1 billion. In charity, I made over 1 billion some dollars. But don't act like you are honest and you're living honest and you doing that. Governor Abbott and the senator said something, and I had to say something to him. And I had to write him, don't tell us to stick by the rule of disability, and your business is not sticking by the rules. When they treat us bad and all of that stuff. Let's get that call when I called the local government about Social Security, and he told me to shut up. That's how y'all act when we trying to talk to people. That's how y'all act. Let's get the calls. The call center gave me the number. When the same time I dropped the letter off, around the same time I talked to another person. But you talk about honesty, but y'all don't know how to give it. You're being dishonest to your community. But you talk about it, right? But when I go on your website, you talk about participating where there's manipulation and lies going. One thing in Dallas, they say they got to watch me because they wasn't able to manipulate me. And for they can believe your lies, I called the 911 police officers asking about that camera and Addison in that election. But you the liar, right? You want to make yourself look good while you continue to win, while you continue to do your job. You had the time to cover up your mess. And then you made me lose my kid. You don't want to talk about that, right? That protective services was outside of Addison, right? So you don't know everything that was going on to protect your democracy. What democracy you protecting? Guys, I want you to get it first here because They believe the mayor, and they take the mayor and them side and city hall and them members side. And we the one that's being ruined. And they didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. And then they tried to break my mind, saying, my check better have 30 million on there. God said my money better add up. You know what you did. What happened in that mall? You see, the governor Abbott cared by himself. They don't want change. That's the difference between me and you. You don't want change, right? But at my local office, they panic. Get the cameras out there when I talk to somebody in Washington. When one of the ladies, and I told her, and I sat down with my customer, I sat down with the customers and they panic, right? Your call center lied to me twice and talk about Social Security on get ticket to work program. They don't got nothing, and they lied, but when you send letters, right? Look at you. You talk about honesty, but can you give honesty? You talking about getting out everybody want me to stop with that sneaky stuff. You know, Yellow Breezy lied, right? You know it and I knew it, right? You know, but you talk about booking shows with us and doing stuff with us, right? But why you lie, right? Come on. Come on, why honesty is being disgiven. Come on, why honesty is being disgiven. But let me tell you, when I talk to somebody in Washington, we can have the cameras there, right, too. Look at my office face and the security guard face. They were scared. You know what else I told them? You know what else? I was recording them. You know what I said? They didn't want me to record them. Why they don't want me to record them, right? Because they doing something they got no business doing at my local office, right? See, this is where the thing is. When we speak to somebody at the call center, they always want to hang up. You know, I called the call center right there while I was there. And they still want to hang up and tell them. I kept calling over 50 times. I didn't give up. And then they didn't want to do nothing. The lady said, reach out to your U.S. counterman. All right. We reached out to Miss Nancy Pelosi, then the White House. I set up a phone interview in Washington, right? And they wanted to know what this is about. We telling them what this is about. The neglect and abuse that y'all are doing. But Senator Ted talk about rules, but he don't understand the governor advocate for his people. Look what's going on. But we get mistreated, right? Y'all want to have it both ways. That's the thing. Y'all want it both ways. You want us to stick by the rules, or you want us to stick by racism rules when businesses pull us in there and fake their love for us, right? Governor Abbott don't know anything. But we the one that's not being heard, right? Your workers panicked. Then one of the Mexican workers saw me in the car, saw me walking with my family, and he looked the same guy that treated me bad. But your call center hanged up. Why those calls? You know, they said in 2019, why they I don't want to let that person come up here and talk to us in Capitol Hill. Where when y'all was acting an ass in Dallas, and the preacher Joe Biden already had his attention, but y'all the behavior, right? But they want to take your side and make me look bad, right? Oh, my boy from RoboCop came to Dallas. But now they know. Um, sorry about that. The lies that you tell, then you try to break me with your racism, with your lies, and your black people say you own this city, and they get mad because I'm not willing to compromise. You talking about giving back? When you gonna stop your lies? You know, I took 30. I said, Governor Abbott, I took 30, right? Nobody wanted to hear me up. I took drama in Newman Smith, right? You know what I thought about bringing Disney Channel to each state, each county. We have production centers, but it seemed like, the people that I promised in the Willowbend Mall and the kids, you see line going on in the city of Dallas, but you don't know about honesty. And that lady, when I was in that hole to take, the next time you talk about, no, the next time you lie with Yellow Breeze in them, my money better add up. I want 30 million. You hear me? Governor Abbott don't know honesty. He fight for his people. He fight for the regular people. He not willing to change. But I want to tell Governor Abbott something. Even though my kid is going to stand up against you, and then his kids before that is going to stand up against your lies and what you don't want to change about your behavior. You can't expect us to stick by the rules and racism businesses. Let me tell you about, I want to know one treatment fair. When it talks about no jobs to discriminate, treat and equal, right? Not handling us the wrong way, not belittling us, trying to belittle our mindset, working with us that's the same where we can grow from us because they're trying to belittle us. That's what that means. I owe you nothing. I owe you nothing, but the mayor don't want to change. It's all about, they willing to listen to their people, but they're not willing to listen to God. Look at him. Look at him not willing to change the damn thing that's going on. Dallas City Hall. Not willing to change nothing, but you can talk about you keeping it real. You ain't keeping it real. You ain't keeping it real. God keeping it real. God keeping it real. The only person that can save Dallas is God. Don't come with your episode of keeping it real, City Hall members. Don't come. God can keep it real. God said when you fight for something different, you can't live in the community because the community not willing to protect God. They're not willing to protect us once again.
Which guy, new employee orientation, things like that, all the way up to eventually a certification city.
So they think they know about what's going on. He talk about leadership, but he don't know leadership, keeping it real. He talking about keeping it real. You don't know nothing about keeping it real. God say stop with that, keeping it real. Well, we got a problem with our costs. And I've been watching Capitol Hill, and they talk about not cutting Social Security, but they don't want to talk about the working. A lady argued with me from Houston. She said, I can't decide that. Senator Ted still don't want to send me an invite. I've been participating my whole life. Since I came to Texas, you want to know who I am? I graduated middle school in Plano, Texas, but I'm from New Orleans. I came out here at Katrina. But you know that's the difference from you. That's the difference from you. But they care about listening to y'all more, but when it comes to disability, we get ignored, right? Let's have that phone call there when they was taunting and antagonating and hanging up in my face telling me to sue as you want. And they still doing it, and I see the spirit of my enemy. He talk about honesty. Is you willing to give it? You willing to do something when we fighting for so much? We fight for greatness. We fight for understanding. But he don't know nothing about it. Stop saying you keeping it real. And this guy said he got on his broadcast keeping it God, keeping it real. We gonna tell us civil rights. You ain't keeping it real, City Hall members. You wouldn't deal what you did, right? But if you would have talked to, I want to know why Trump didn't get rid of you. You see, Governor Abbott think he needed. So Mrs. Trump said something when she was in office. She started not to trust people. Did Trump tell Governor Abbott everything? If you would have talked to Governor Abbott, you would have known that if you would have talked to Trump, you would have known that I was innocent, but you don't know anything, right? You see, you're a pawn. You're a pawn. You so dumb that you can't even catch on. If you would have really talked to Trump, you wouldn't. So you blind in the head. I want to know why Trump didn't get rid of you. That's the problem. I want to know when he exposed those files. I want to know why he didn't get rid of you, City Hall members. I want to know why he didn't get rid of you. I want to know why he didn't get rid of you. Racism talking about they own this city. So you talking about keeping it real, God keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. And when I come for mine, it better add up. Your brand say keeping it real, right? All right, let's talk about that brand. Let's talk about that brand, keeping it real. And God said, when I come for my money, it better add up. But these niggas on some sneaky shit because they can't have nothing. And they be sneaking out. You'll be the main one that called people crazy. But you know what? When I came out, when I found out about the 14 men and the civil rights on y'all dumbasses, let's start this game. Let's talk about his brand, keeping it real.